All right, we'll get started in, let's say, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 6, 7, 9, 8, 4, starting now. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Final Fantasy Wiki Podcast, which is on a website that your URL is finalfantasy.fandom.com. I am your host, BlueHighwind. I had a cool intro at some point and completely lost that groove and that setting. This is the December episode, and we're talking about Final Fantasy XIV, a game I don't play. Luckily, these three guys do. It's Catuse. Say hello.
Hello. Hi. This is Catuse.
It's SomeColorMage.
Hi.
Catuse, some horrible noise is happening.
Give me 1 second. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, alright. We're starting off in a particularly punchy mood today. There's also a third guy, what was his name again? Hexedmagica, right?
Not appearing in this film. Yeah.
That's you, right?
Hext.
Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly.
I mean, you might have shown up on a previous podcast unannounced, but that couldn't have possibly happened.
That's basically how I appear in all of these. This is the only one where I think I've, like, actively been...
consulted and invited?
Yeah, exactly. Mostly because it actually relates to one of the few Final Fantasy games I have any emotional connection to these days.
To be honest, you kind of just appeared on the wiki one day with no explanation, and nobody's really sure how or why you showed up, but you've just been here. It's like you were here before the wiki. And then...
In a way, like, I've been around since 2007, so, like... Which is a long fucking time.
It is a horrifyingly long amount of time. I've also been around since 2007. Did you know Bush was president when I joined this wiki?
Yeah.
And
how old was... I keep forgetting how old the wiki is, despite the fact that I've edited the page that says how old the wiki is several times.
It's 16...
It goes back in 2005.
Yeah, so it's 16 years and will be 17 years sometime next year. I don't know what the wiki's birthday is.
I can tell you the exact... it's Shane613, right? That's the guy's name?
That is the guy that founded the wiki, yes. Who was also very mysterious.
So Shane's first edit was on the 13th of March, 2005. So in about 6 months will be our 17th birthday.
No, March is 3 months from now.
Oh, 3 months. Sorry, not 6 months.
Nearly old enough to have our own kids.
Basically,
well,
yeah.
Like the wiki. Yeah.
Some people on this wiki have had kids.
That's horrifying.
I know.
It's just like...
It's like?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird.
Okay. Alright, I guess we should talk about the things that happened in the month of December in the Final Fantasy world, right? Or how about this?
Okay.
No, that's too on topic. Let's forget all that. Christmas was a couple days ago. How was your Christmas?
I had to deal with my family as little as possible, which means it is objectively in the top 10% of Christmases I've ever had.
Awesome. Anyone else have a top 10 of Christmases?
I broke a chair with my fat ass.
Nice.
Good job.
Wow.
Mine was uneventful because I'm stranded in the middle of nowhere because I don't really want to fly with Omicron going around in my area.
Yeah, that's not good. That's really not good. I have vacation plans in a month, and I have no idea how fucked they are.
My guess is always for vacation plans, especially in, like, current year.
Mm-hmm. How was everybody's Hanukkahs?
It was in the bottom 50% of my Hanukkahs because I did not eat latkes this year.
Oh, no. Sorry about that. I also didn't have latkes on Hanukkah. We went to a steak place. I also had steak for Christmas. The steak was 6 pounds and cost $150 because I'm just that hungry.
That is way too expensive for a steak.
This was a very good steak.
Yeah, but also, like, money.
I know. Well, I didn't buy Final Fantasy XIV, so I had money. That's the tip.
I mean, no. Final Fantasy XIV isn't expensive money-wise. It's expensive time-wise.
Well, that too.
Well,
And
Final
isn't
Fantasy XIV is expensive money-wise if you get the Passage of Arms figurine shipped all the way to Australia.
isn't
I
there a
mean,
monthly
God,
fee
that
too?
Figurine.
Yeah.
Like there's a monthly
you don't
charge,
actually
right?
know how much all of that ended up being in Australia, and it was an absurd amount.
I'm sure it was like a few hundred.
Wait, sorry. What's the monthly charge for Final Fantasy XIV on top of buying the game?
Like
Hold on, I have
14,
to
15
look this up.
US.
Yeah, it's 14 US for like a full account, but I don't think you really need that. You could get away with like 13 US.
Okay, well, you add that up over the course of a year. 13 times 12 comes out to be that's actually more than I paid for the steak.
Yeah.
That's 156, I believe, right?
But also, like, I feel like you're gonna get more enjoyment out of, like,
Out of what?
I mean, out of FF14 than you would a steak, so...
This is a very good steak.
What if it's a really good steak?
It was a really good steak.
What, did... Just, how can a steak be better than, like, the award... No, I can't say the meme.
Do the meme. I know you want to.
I'm gonna do the meme.
Bart Simpson
Mostly because
meme.
I'm
Not accurate at the moment anyway, for reasons we'll probably get to later.
Bart Simpson
also
meme.
because
Say
my-
the line. Come on.
Mostly
Yeah.
because my brain has also forgotten, like, half of the meme.
Wait, hold
so I'm
on.
just-
I have a mug with the meme on it. Give me 1 second.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh my fucking... Welcome,
Anyway.
welcome to a train wreck episode. We're all...
It's Christmas times. Nobody cares.
Okay, I went digging into my dirty dishes. Okay, let me put my headset back on. I went digging into my dirty dishes and I found my mug, and I'll send a picture of it when it's not dirty. It says, "Have you heard of the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV with expanded free trial, which you can play through an entirety of A Realm Reborn for free with no, oh fuck, the presentation on it is deliberately terrible, so I can't even tell which sentence is supposed to go where."
Okay.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's one hell of a mug. Jesus. All right. Anyway,
Yeah,
we should
but
probably
yeah, get on topic.
yeah,
probably.
sure. We should probably talk about the news of the month, right? So, all right. First, there's that thing called Final Fantasy XIV. We're going to ignore that for now. All right.
Yeah, we've already spoken
My God,
about it.
Catuse, what is going on over there?
I don't know. Continue.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
what's happening?
All right. So the other big news of this month, I believe, is Final Fantasy Remake came out on PC, and nobody's very happy with it. Did anyone
Final
play?
Fantasy
Oh, is
VII
anyone
remake. I
there?
think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've released
God damn
on
it!
Patreon.
Sorry. Final Fantasy VII Remake came out for PC. Yes, that's what I meant to say. I am a professional at podcasting or whatever this is. Yeah, so it came out on PC. I think was it only on Epic Store, or is it also on Steam?
It's Epic exclusive.
Epic exclusive. I thought so. A lot of PC gamers and Master Race people were really ticked off because it doesn't have many options at all. It's pretty much a bare bones port of
So
the
apparently
PS5
does-
version.
Also, apparently doesn't it run terribly?
It
That's what I
runs. It runs inconsistently depending on what's on your computer, what kind of computer you have
Okay.
inside. You know, the innards and all that sort
I
of
mean,
stuff.
that's like to be expected.
Yeah, it never ran perfectly on PS4, so I'm guessing you're getting an experience that's somewhat similar to that. The textures apparently still don't look all that incredible, which it seems like a consistent problem with this game. Anyway,
The PS5 version played pretty well. So.
it did, yeah. So that's definitely the version you want to play, not the PC version, unless you only have a PC or you don't particularly care that you can't get ultra widescreen and I don't know the weird
And the game doesn't
FXX,
like, yeah.
GeForce Now, etc. That hair thing that Nvidia had back. Maybe that doesn't work anymore. I don't know. I don't have a PC that works. So, I don't know how PC gaming works. But all those things, you don't get it. Anyway, the other news we have is that Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. You remember that game, right?
We're here to kill
Supposedly.
chaos!
Yes, we're here to kill chaos. Jack Garland, the story of him. We have new characters have been unveiled. We have a guy named Astos, who is the king of the elves, and I think was he one of the bosses in Final Fantasy 1? I
Yeah,
remember
he
that
was
name.
the second boss in 1.
No, he'd be the third one. Because Bite the Pirate is the second boss. I remember
Oh,
that
so
one.
that's just a bunch of shitty pirates that die in 1 hit each.
That's technically a
Wouldn't
boss
really
fight.
consider that a...
The boss music played, I consider it a boss. On my walkthrough, I have a boss template.
Yeah,
That means they're officially a boss. I get to decide these things.
sure.
Well,
Okay.
Astos is the first boss that can piss people off because he's the one that can open with the single target instant kill spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Ass
now
rub.
looks like a dude with gray hair and kind of looks like just like an Amano guy. We also have the
Oh,
legendary Tiamat, who might be a hot chick now. I'm looking at this picture. There's a dragons and there's some kind of lady in the middle. It's not very clear.
Sometimes you just gotta waifu-ize the dragon. It's
Yeah,
fine.
you know, like they did.
Final
We all
Fantasy
do
14
it.
is full of this.
Like they did Shelob in that one Lord of the Rings game.
That's not okay.
That was.
That was a whole ass thing.
I'd say she was hotter as a spider, but you know, I have my things. And finally,
people are
we
cowards.
have Sophia, who, guess what? It's a Nomura
Oh yes, the
template.
manifestation of the wisdom itself.
Oh, you're going Gnosticism on this.
Yeah, always.
Okay.
Always be Gnosticisming.
Okay. I was thinking that, but I wanted to go with Nomura's fetish for goth girls. And Sophia fits into that.
That's always the case. It's just a little bit of a upside.
And that's where we left off what last podcast actually was talking about the goth girl in Final Fantasy 14.
Is that really?
Yeah, we
Not-
did.
I don't remember if that was left in the recording, but it was definitely one of the things that we spiraled into insanity
Yeah.
during and after the end of the call.
Yeah, last recording kind of went sort of directions, and I've just kind of brought that energy with me throughout the month of December. I think I had one other bit of news. What's the other news? Final Fantasy VI.
Final Fantasy VI.
Yes, Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster. We've seen pictures of what it looks like. It'll be out in February 2022. You get new items if you pre-purchase the game individually or have purchased the Pixel Remaster bundle on Steam, whatever that means.
More to the... Yeah, they've added more stuff to the pre-order package because, it's not coming out in 2021 now. So, like, each of the Pixel Remasters so far, they came with three... the PC versions came with a couple wallpapers as well as 3 songs, which start like with their original version and slowly fade into the Pixel Remaster version. So they've added a couple other songs, another one of those time-lapse songs, and also they've added a version of the Aria de Mezzaca to it. So
Good attempt.
and also they're just adding a bunch of wallpapers for things throughout the entire Pixel Remaster series.
So we do have some screenshots. The iconic the Gundams walking through the snow to Narsh. We have those. The Magitech armors. I mean, we have shots of the opera scene, probably the most famous scene from Final Fantasy VI, which now is like fully a 3D polygon. So they kind of are.
They've gone Octopath style with that scene. And
Yeah.
it's,
That's good.
And it
'cause,
looked very good.
Octopath is gorgeous, so...
I'm a bit confused by it because it's supposed to be on stage, but yet it's like the biggest castle you could possibly imagine. So if I'm in the audience and how are you getting that? Like, are you dropping a castle that's monumental in scale down from the flies? I don't know. I'm being stupid. Sorry. It looks like the other games, effectively, is what it looks like. The other Pixel remasters, I mean.
The Pixel remasters have been, like, generally just quite gorgeous. Like, they've kept true to the original style while, like, touching it up a bit. It's all been quite nice, in my opinion, anyway.
It is much, much better than the previous Final Fantasy VI version that you had on Steam, which I'm looking at comparison screenshots. That is much worse than I remembered. Holy shit, did that look bad. Wow.
It looks so bad that we had a featured image for like a month on the front page of the wiki that was called Kefka's Garbage Tower.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I think I uploaded that picture. I found it and I was so horrified.
Embedding just did not work.
No, it didn't.
Also, like, in the style of those, what company was it? Matrix made them. The Final Fantasy phone games done by them. Everyone just looks fucking angry all the time. Like, everyone's got angry eyes.
You know, if you look at the... No, go on. No. I had no real point to make.
It's a problem with... with their versions of 5 and 6, and also Dimensions, which is sort of like the game that art style was sort of modeled from, although I don't remember what little I saw at Dimensions being anywhere near as bad as some of the shots of 5 and 6. But yeah, everyone's facial expressions just look off on sprites that are theoretically supposed to be neutral. Everyone else looks kind of pissed.
You see, they're just here to kill chaos. That's it.
Yeah,
they're here to kill chaos, and they're angry.
American Kirby is hardcore.
And they're very angry because chaos isn't in their games, so they can't kill them.
I mean, what's weird about it is, how do you get them angry when most of these characters don't have noses or mouths? But yet they've managed to do it. Anyway.
It's a mystery.
Anger is a state of being. Sometimes you've just got to be angry.
Sometimes you just have to let the hate flow through you and reach out to the dark side.
Exactly.
And every moment you become more and more my apprentice, you know, as it goes.
Hot girl shit.
You know, if I were Luke Skywalker, I would have turned into a Sith, like, immediately. I get so mad sometimes. Anyway.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, you're given the option between boring blue lightsaber or cool as shit red lightsaber. Like, that's not a question.
Okay, my username. What is it again?
Blue.
Yes. So which color lightsaber do you think I'm picking?
Red.
No! No, I'm picking the blue lightsaber because blue is the best color. You're
a coward, and you will be first against the wall when the revolution comes.
This is not an affectation. I live this life.
You just gotta take the route that Samuel L. Jackson did and demand to George Lucas that the lightsaber color you want be made canon.
Alright, look. When he had a purple lightsaber, that was him stepping outside of his bounds. I deeply respect Samuel L. Jackson, but purple is only the color for the Imperial family, and he's just not part of it. Alright?
What you gotta do is...
lightsaber with badass motherfucker engraved on it.
Alright, I mean, when he can show me that he is the heir to Constantinople and the Byzantine Empire, I'll allow him to have the purple lightsaber, but until then, there's nothing I can do.
Right. Not the Tyrian purple, therefore it's not the purple of the Imperial family.
You gotta be like General Grievous, just have two lightsabers. You gotta have the red lightsaber to keep Hexed happy, and you gotta have the blue lightsaber to keep yourself happy.
Ah, okay. Right, now that we're on lightsabers or whatever...
How are you not certain that, you know, because Star Wars takes place like a long, long time ago, wouldn't Samuel L. Jackson then possibly be the ancestor of the Byzantines instead of the descendant of the Byzantines?
No, because it also takes... It doesn't take place on Earth. It's also a far, far away.
Well, sure. That just leaves the question of how long does it take to get between here and a galaxy far, far away?
Probably
They've
a
got
lot.
faster than light travel with Star Wars.
Yeah, but Star Wars has never really figured out how fast light travel is. Like, consistently, they have no sense of space or time in any of those things. So you can
see, it goes as fast as the plot demands it.
Yeah, so like in episode 8, they're traveling like as fast as their ships can travel, except that Rose and Finn are able to get off on a different ship and fly to another planet, then come back in that same time. Well, you just make it up.
Right,
It doesn't matter.
And in this instance, the plot demands that they be able to travel as fast as they need to for Samuel L. Jackson to be the ancestors of the emperors of Byzantium, QED.
Okay, I'm getting mad at your logic right now, so I'm going back on topic. Final Fantasy XIV. A realm. What version? What's the new version? Mooncrash. Endwalker. Final Fantasy XIV Mooncrash came out this month, and you all played it, I assume, right?
Moon. Yes.
What the fuck? Okay. Is that what you do in the new expansion?
I mean, in a way of speaking, yes.
Okay.
Huh?
You do kind of fuck up one of the things that the moon was supposed to do.
Okay. Alright, we should at least try to stay bare bones on some level, content-wise, some vague use of people who might be at all curious about Final Fantasy XIV instead of just rambling constantly.
I'm very much going to not explicitly spoil anything because
No, we can spoil things later, but
Endwalker goes places. Yeah.
okay.
We'll start tame, and then we can get progressively deeper and more insane into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you just start at the deep end of this game, everyone will think you're fucking insane. That is why the trailers for this game don't show anything that happens after level 83, because it would make no fucking sense whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where I want to start with is I've heard that the experience right now is in a state of some chaos. And have all of you managed to go and play through as much of it as you've wanted to?
Yeah.
Haven't had any problems?
I think the three of us have all beaten the story. Well, in Hexed and I's case, it's a bit easier because we're Australians playing on the North American servers, so
okay.
So the time when our best times for going on are when the queues are naturally shorter.
The only issue is, for me, a lot of my best time to play is on the weekend, which is when queues are most fucked anyway. But for the most part, yeah, I got Endwalker done within a week and a half, which is slow for an X-Pack for me. But everything's been on fire the entire time, so...
In that week and a half, how many hours did you play?
I don't want to think about that.
Okay.
Blue, there was at least one session where I woke up, I played FF14, and then I went to bed after 16 hours.
Holy God. Oh my God.
That was kind of my experience. I mean, I knew the servers were fucked, so it came out on a Friday. I had that Friday and that Monday off work. And so I just went Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then I was up to I got to the final boss by Monday night, and then I had to sleep and go to work, and then I made it to, and then I actually beat the final boss several days after that because I just couldn't get on the line for the next several days.
I feel like such a poser because I play maybe 8 hours of gaming in a rich week, and you guys
I would not do this ever, except for the fact that this was the one opportunity that I had to play the game because shit's fucked.
Yes, I've heard this.
Yeah, shit is wild.
So right now, all right, let's say you're me, and for whatever reason, I'm turning my back on everything I believe in, and I want to play Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker right now. Can I do that?
No, because you can't buy the game.
Okay. You cannot purchase the game.
You can't buy the game, and also nothing in this X-Pack makes sense unless you've played everything leading up to it.
I think
well,
I can.
Not just you can't buy the game, but you're also just not allowed to register a new account, period. So even if you go into the free trial for just the Realm Reborn and Heavensward, you can't actually start that right now. Because not only have they just disabled new account registration altogether, when you're on the free trial, it won't let you join if there is a queue of long enough size for your home server. So basically no.
So I've been hearing things.
Anyway.
I've been hearing things that like the queues are like 2,000 people long, 4,000 people long. What I heard is that it's a glitch in the system going back to 1.0 code that's causing these queues.
Oh yes, that part.
That's been fixed. Yeah,
that's been fixed.
So that got fixed last week. But the nature of the issue was that there's this bug in the server connection code that's been there since 1.0. It got reused in the current game. That every 15 minutes, if you haven't gotten into the game yet, you needed to re-queue with the lobby server. And because the main cause of people disconnecting from the game at this point has been because it's tried to connect to the lobby server and it's replied, "Fuck off, we're full." So people would just have the appearance of getting randomly kicked out of the queue once they've already gotten past the lobby server and the queuing to get into the game, because without anyone being able to see what's going on, the client had to talk to the lobby server again. But yeah, they fixed that now. They fixed that in last week's update.
Catuse, I think I'm getting some kind of noise from you. It's like a grinding or a mouse wheel noise, maybe?
Is it?
I will keep
Doesn't
myself
Cat
muted
mute
on
it?
nothing.
So it might be me. That might be.
Okay.
Me.
I'm hearing a mouse noise from somebody. I'm not sure. So that's incredible that 1.0 came out in 2014. Is that correct, SomeColorMage?
2010.
2010? Holy fuck.
You're thinking of 2.0.
I am thinking of 2.0.
came out in
Alright.
2014.
It was 2010. Holy
2.0 was 2013, and
Holy
and
fuck,
then there's
are we-
been a release every 2 years.
That was 11 years ago. We're so old. We're so impossibly ancient. But anyway, that came out 11 years ago. It was a total disaster. A catastrophic nightmare of unbelievable proportions. They've completely remade the game. 1.0 is technically not even a 1.0. That's like an incorrect way of putting it. That's like a completely different product entirely. It's like a different executable at this point. And yet, there's still some lingering demon left behind that's going out and ruining people's days from all those years ago. Somewhere embedded. These little minds
you
waiting
may as
for
well
us.
reuse the network code, right? Because all of that worked perfectly fine, and there's no chance someone's going to be in the queue for this game for more than 15 minutes, are they?
Hey,
These people building the server in 2012. There's no way that 9 years from now we could be considered the best game in the franchise ever at the exact same time that Activision Blizzard is so completely shitting the bed that investors have started calling for Bobby Kotick's head. That's never going to happen. Never going to happen. There's also not going to be a global pandemic that completely annihilates parts so we can't make new servers. This entire confluence of events not going to happen. And
You should
then
also
it's fucking
mention-
did.
It's like Tabata's final revenge, right? No, was it Tabata or Tanaka?
it was not Tabata, I'm pretty sure.
Tanaka.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tabata is the one who did 15 and then fucked off, cancelling half of the DLC with him.
Yeah.
I just remembered
it's
news.
It's just Tanaka's final revenge. Yeah.
Damn it, I remembered news now that you mentioned Final Fantasy 15.
Alright, what's the
Oh,
news?
no.
Okay. We did see more of that Final Fantasy, not Final Fantasy 16 game, the one, what's that thing called?
Forspoken?
Yeah, Forspoken, or whatever. And then,
rankings?
yeah. Final Fantasy XIV won an award at the Game Awards, right? It won Best Ongoing Game.
I think it got multiple.
No, it won for...
It probably did. The Game Awards structure is really fucking stupid because it's really just a vehicle for ads, so they'll announce like 20 awards at once. And
Yeah. Did anyone watch that, by the way?
No.
It was bad. Don't worry.
Did, and I've already completely forgotten it.
It was quite boring, but Final Fantasy XIV...
Jeff Keighley's
yeah.
yearly war against fate.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy XIV has won the award for Best Ongoing Game at the Game Awards. Imagine Dragons was there. That's your hint of what kind of show it was. Yeah. They weren't even all that bad, but just the fact that it's Imagine Dragons is...
The fact that Imagine Dragons continues to exist and continues to be successful is just like a big showing of just how disappointed in life I am.
Imagine Dragons is the League of Legends band that now, though. It's so of course it's going to be at the game show.
Wait, they did a League of Legends thing? What's that? Like, what did they do?
They made like a whole bunch of songs for League of Legends years ago.
Oh.
Not years ago, meaning like a few months ago, but yes.
Oh, did they do that Arcane show?
Wasn't there like a song like 8 years ago?
Yes, but also a few months ago. Anyways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to believe they're a League of Legends band until they call me a slur.
Oh my god. Oh man, we are spicy tonight. Ooh. I've never played League of Legends, by the way. I don't think I ever am going to.
That way.
I might watch Arcane. Should I watch Arcane?
Arcane is actually good, but it has Imagine Dragons in it.
Oh, now I don't want to watch Arcane.
Isn't the whole thing with Arcane is that Riot just released it to like get flack off them for like sexual abuse allegations?
I don't think
Feel
that's
like they'd
100%
already
true.
managed to completely, I think they already managed to just completely dodge it by that point. Helped in part by
Bobby
Activision
Kotick
being much worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, man, we looked like the bad guys, but then everyone else turns out to be so much worse. Everyone just forgot about our shit.
Yeah, I think in general, industry-wise, also Riot gets a lot of good favor from the industry in general because their pay is on level with an actual software development job instead of the kind of pay that games development companies give.
Which I hear is bad.
God.
Anyway, Final Fantasy XIV, where were we before I decided to talk about the Game Awards for some reason?
We were talking about 1.0's Revenge.
We've covered that in effect. So right now, all new logins and all new purchases are... Is there any set date for when that's going to come back, or that's still paused? Indefinitely paused.
Yeah. There is an approximate timeline of events. Like they have plans to expand the how many is it? 8 current global data centers, which they think they'll have a timeline for that out in January, and in February there's going to be the launch of the 9th global data center, Materia. I assume. Yes, in Australia. So probably by that point they'll start easing things off, just because that's going to introduce probably at least 6 new servers into the ecosystem and alleviate capacity at least a little bit, because there are also like oceanic players on like all of the global data centers, and a bunch of them will move to the new one.
Okay. What is the temperature like of the fandom right now? Because from where I sit, it looks like everyone's taking this rather well, which is surprising considering I know video gamers, and typically they don't take anything well. Am I judging this correctly?
Everyone is chill as long as you don't post on the official forum.
Okay.
The official
Reddit.
forums are a cesspit. Basically, the community is like, this sucks, but also, like, Square is trying their best. Or saying they're trying their best. So there's some amount of understanding, especially because Square does try to not fuck over the community.
And to be clear, there are things that Square Enix has butchered pretty badly about this, like the Era 2002 bug from 10 years ago. But people do realize that anything involving servers is fucked right now because of COVID and NFTs. And that wasn't some decision that some Square businessman made.
Wait, what is this about NFTs?
Crypto fuckwits are half the reason why parts are also just an absolute mess to procure.
God, I'm so mad now. All that stupid bullshit is why people can't play their video game, because somebody's like, oh, I've created this new art form that is just pure gambling speculation and oh my god, I can't even get into NFTs. If you're an NFT fan, you can stop listening right now. We don't want you around. We're done with you.
This podcast is extremely fungible.
No, we're not. Wait. Is it non-fungible or fungible? How does it go?
Non-fungible tokens. That's what they are.
Okay.
We are fungible. We're like every other podcast that we have no point, and we just are just like a bunch of dudes just talking about nothing. It's like every other podcast. Therefore, we're fungible, and so we're not an NFT.
We are actually fungusable. This is a fungus podcast. This is not electricity that is in your phone. It is a kind of spore that has taken over.
The general community mood. Part of it is just that Yoshida has managed to bank about 8 years worth of goodwill with the community, so people are willing to be a lot more chill about problems with Creative Business Unit 3. This would also probably explain why people aren't that fucking mad that there has been almost complete silence on 16. Despite them actually saying, "Oh, we'll have more information in 2021," and it is currently December 27, Japan time, and the most information we've got is the voice acting is nearly done, and it won't be at the events we wanted it to be.
Well, when you say people aren't mad, I'm getting there. I'm worried and frustrated, but I'm not people, so don't worry.
The prevailing opinion is that people generally they're not happy with it all, but like they at least accept it and aren't the most angry as they could be about it.
This is all weirdly adult and mature, which is worrying me.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy XIV is a very adult and mature game, as evidenced by, the fact that there's a subscription fee and also the Endwalker storyline.
Yeah.
Okay. The 3 weeks of free game time probably helped too.
And also, and also I think people got a lot of their angry steam burned off, like 2 weeks before the launch, or like when they had to bump back the launch date by 2 weeks. People were pissed about that because a lot of them had taken part-time off so they could play the game before the servers became fucked, and now they couldn't do that because they got bumped back 2 weeks. So there was a lot of backlash to that when that happened. But I think a lot of people, it seems like the community got a lot of its anger out at that, and then this is just another thing that's fucked because of COVID, and what can we do?
Yeah. Should we talk about what's actually in this new expansion before we go to story stuff? Have any of you played the 2 new jobs? No.
I have them unlocked.
Not yet.
Okay.
I've experimented with some of the old jobs and the changes to them, but I haven't had a chance to try the new jobs.
Okay, so the new jobs are
this game.
The new jobs
Reaper
are
and Sage.
That's it, yeah. Gundam, Funnels, and Reaper from Overwatch. That's the new jobs. What's the general reaction to these things? How's that looking?
Currently Reaper is considered nearly broken levels of good.
All right.
It's really powerful and easy to play from what I've heard, so which is kind of surprising considering how goddamn complicated the mechanics actually look. But the other one, Sage. Sage is an interesting one because it's if you try to play it as a straight healer, it's apparently really weak, and how you have to play it is basically you need to have some idea of what you're doing, because the Sage has a lot of shields and can do really powerful preventative moves. But if you start missing that and playing reactively, the Sage only really has enough healing output to handle like the general automatic attacks that a tank would take. So once you start getting on the back foot, you're basically just trying to stay. You're basically just treading water at that stage, which is a lot. Yes, what was that?
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say it's what Scholar was back in like A Realm Reborn and Heavensward, but maybe to a greater extent. But like Scholar has been changed to make it easier for folks to get into, and I think that the sort of predictive healing. Well, I thought it was just gone from the game for good, but they brought it back as Sage.
My understanding of Sage.
Wait, what do you mean by
basically?
Sorry, what did he mean by predictive healing?
So basically, Sages and Scholars are both what's called shield healers, in that usually for maximum effect, you preemptively use spells that put shields on party members to mitigate and reduce incoming damage before it happens.
That's like Bar Thunder from Final Fantasy 1?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Basically, the shields act as extra health, and it wears through that before any actual health, because your actual healing components of your spells are worse than what's called, like, what pure healers are, which is White Mage and Astrologian.
Oh, it's Wolfenstein shields. I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. It's... Yeah.
I should probably play this game before hosting a podcast about it.
It's fine.
It's what it needs to be. So none of you, I guess that's general thoughts on the jobs. How's Male Viera doing?
There are so many fucking bunny boy twinks. It's. I think they're like legitimately the second most popular race at this point.
Yeah, probably.
Like,
the Catboy extinction gas has taken hold. At a very opportune time for me, because yesterday morning I decided, well, I've got that Fantasia spare, I may as well use it now. And then I remembered that before this whole thing started, I was leveling Gunbreaker, and my Gunbreaker was currently level 63, which I assume if you're not familiar, the level 63 dungeon contains what is considered some of the sluttiest glams in the game.
Okay.
It's just beach. It's not just generic beachwear. It's slutty generic beachwear.
You're thinking
male
of the
slutty or
73
female
dungeon,
slutty?
Shishui.
Isn't it 63?
73, yes.
Oh, it's 73.
Okay.
Wait,
63 is Samal.
Wait, no, it is 63.
It's
Shisui.
63. Yeah, because it's Shisui. Yeah.
Oh wait, what am I
We're
doing?
good
Sorry,
at, we're good at numbers.
I can't count to 60. Never mind. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. No, it's like slutty swimwear with lots of pretty flowers on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'd have a hard time in ancient Sumeria because they had a base 60 system. So.
Yeah, well, we're not in ancient Sumeria right now. We're in ancient Rome. So.
Yes, so we got to keep going back to all kinds of weird things. So
I thought we were in classical Greece.
we're in lots of places. So are any of you bunny boys right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And They do look good.
Okay. You're living the bunny boy
unfortunately,
lifestyle?
Yes, unfortunately, one aspect of the bunny boys has already been nerfed, which is, I think it was voice number 4, had this one really annoying battle grunt that pissed everyone off, and they've already fixed that, unfortunately.
Okay. You have to give me your impression of voice number 4.
Oh god, no.
Give me just a second to... And then
Hexed, I believe in you. I think you can do this.
I'm not doing this.
You're not doing this?
I'm not doing this.
I would do it in a second if I knew what it was.
It's a bit I'm not willing to do.
You're not. All right. If legitimately this is making anyone uncomfortable, we can stop.
No, it's fine. It's just
Okay.
like I don't have the ability to do it because I actually have just completely blanked it out from my brain.
Okay.
Yeah, and I am just in general incapable of sounding like a twink.
But for the record, it sounds like hurrah, hurrah. But yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay. Well, thank you for that attempt.
Imagine hearing that like every 30 seconds while you're in combat because you have some fucking bunny boy in your party.
I did play some
Oh,
Tales
no,
of
it's
Arise.
just-
That's kind of how it sounded.
No, it's more like every 5 seconds because everybody in your party accepts you as a bunny boy.
Well,
Yes.
Why aren't you a bunny boy?
Because I'm a cute dragon girl,
Okay.
which is objectively morally more correct.
Okay. All right. There's no judgment here. All right. If people want to be Twinkie bunny boys, they can be Twinkie bunny boys. What if I wanted to be a Twinkie bunny boy?
Then you should play Final Fantasy XIV.
But I can't.
Well, wait for the Australian data center to open up.
Yeah.
Think they're hiring? I hate my job.
I mean, yeah, we'll just, like, me or SCM will just, like, shelter you on, like, a floor somewhere. It's fine.
No, I got
Don't
a
worry
lease.
about it.
I can't move until, like, the end of this thing. People would be mad at
Good,
me.
I've barely got enough room in this apartment as is.
Yeah. Anyway, we've covered what I consider to be the most important thing, which is Male Viera. We should probably talk about...
and jobs.
No, I don't care about jobs. I was just doing that for, comprehension's sake. Alright, so I'm going to tell you where I think we are in Final Fantasy XIV from what I remember. Spoilers up to Endwalker. So, Xenos was possessed by an ancient demon thing and then became Xenos again. And now he's a Reaper because he wants to go and kill/fuck Warrior of Light. Which I fully understand.
Correct.
I'm about all
Correct.
this. It's got the Sephiroth-Cloud relationship. It's classic. Meanwhile, there was that dude with 2 hair colors who's dead now. And then another dude who's also part of his organization 14. He turned into Warrior of Light from Dissidia, but you killed him. And then there's Shinryu.
Right.
And that's all I got.
Shinryu with Xenos.
Yeah, that's all I
Yeah,
got.
Shinryu is Xenos.
And now they're in high school,
the
according to
important-
the manga?
We can get to the manga later.
We'll come back to the manga later. Anyways,
Okay.
so the important detail you're missing is Fan Daniel, who is also a member of Organization 13.
What are they legitimately
He
called?
is-
The Askians,
They
right?
are the
Ascians.
Ascians.
Yeah.
Right, they're the Ascians, although they're specifically the heads of the Ascians. Like
They're
used
actually
to be
called
their government's
Asians.
called-
You're not screwing with me right now?
Yes, they're called the Ascians, and
Okay.
they're the leaders, the convocation of 14.
Oh, that's where the 14 comes
Anyways.
from, of course.
Yes, this is what 14 in the title Final Fantasy 14 refers to.
Of
The
course.
Organization 14.
For some reason, Kingdom Hearts is not called Final Fantasy 13. But anyways, so with Elidibus and Emmett Selk, Elidibus being the Warrior of Light from Dissidia, and Emmett Selk being the Ben Shapiro with 2 hair colors. Now that they're
No,
dead,
that's mean.
Fan
Don't do
Daniel-
that. He He didn't deserve that.
Yeah. Oh, and anyway, the Ben Shapiro wasn't Hammett. That's Faris.
Wait.
Yeah.
Well, he orchestrated Ben Shapiro's rise to power. Anyways, sorry. Getting back on topic. No more Ben Shapiro.
Yes, please.
So with Elidibus and Emmett Selk out of the picture, and all the other Ascian leaders basically dead, Fan Daniel is basically free to take over and carry out his ambitions of ending the world.
Okay.
All of existence, actually.
Yeah,
one does.
But we'll get to that part.
He's starting off modest by. He starts off modest by summoning the Tower of Zot and the Tower of Babel and a bunch of other towers, and using them essentially to mind control millions of people, including the entire population of Garlemald, to summon primals for him to carry out his duty. And then there's this big battle where we solve racism by all the different races that hated each other team up to fight Lunar Bahamut.
Are we in spoilers right now, by the way?
This is still all
Endwalker. This is before Endwalker.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, this is patch 5.5.
Okay.
And so having solved racism, we now need to go stop Fan Daniel, who is now the de facto leader of the Empire, because he has pretty much
isn't doing anything. He just wants wants to find things to kill.
Okay.
Yeah, Xenos just wants to fuck the Warrior of Light, and everyone else has been mindlessly brainwashed to serve Fan Daniel. So now we got to go to the Empire to stop Fan Daniel.
All right.
And that's where we left off.
Very simple.
Wait. Before that, they also decide to go to Sharlayan, which is the city where most of our allies are from, because Alpha Noah and Alisay's dad, who is one of the one of the government officials there, he came to Eorzea for a minute. So told them that no, Sharlayan doesn't want to help save the world. We've got better ideas. And then when Alpha Noah and Alisay understandably told him he was being stupid, he disowned both of them right then and there. So we decide that there's obviously something suspicious going on there, and decide, well, we're also going to have to solve that problem too.
Okay.
And yeah, that's where we are at the start of Endwalker.
All right. So there's a lot of plates spinning. And my head already hurts trying to follow all this shit. Okay, so now we go to the moon. What's up with the moon?
That's like 4 levels into the X pack. That's like a solid halfway through.
Okay.
Right. So basically, we start by going to Sharlayan.
We should, whenever you feel like we need a spoiler wall, just put that spoiler wall down.
I mean, spoiler wall is probably from here.
From here,
I mean, we're going to get deeper and deeper into the story from here. Like, we're just at the very start now.
Okay.
So we make it
all right,
to
so
Sharlayan,
formal spoiler wall now. Anyone that doesn't want to be spoiled, you've been warned, and I don't give a fuck. Let's go.
Right. So we make it to Sharlayan, and immediately there's 2 little possible leads that go out. First one is actually dealing with Sharlayan. That we realize they're doing something really. They have been hoarding a lot of things in this giant underground vault, Labyrinthos. And there's another lead that one of the towers has spawned in the nation of Favnir, which is basically Final Fantasy XIV India.
Sure, why not?
And
it's Sri Lanka, but yeah.
Okay.
Bit of both. They definitely have Indian accents. But anyway.
So it's Bujerba.
Anyway,
it's basically Bujerba, but on the ground.
Okay.
It's the design of Favnir's outsides is very similar to the FMV of Bujerba that introduces Bujerba in 12.
Okay.
Yeah. we investigate both of those things. We managed to piss off the entire Charlian government in the process of nosing around in Labyrinthos, and the work that and while investigating the Tower of Zot in Favnir, we discover a way to just make people immune to tempering, just outright give them this thing to wear, and it stops them from being tempered by primals.
What?
Which, and the primals aren't doing the tempering at this point, it's the giant towers, but it does mean that just anyone can start approaching and sieging these towers.
Okay.
And this event results in a siege on the Tower of Zot, which has been creating lunar primals of the Magus sisters, and we go there to destroy the tower. And
how deep in
eventually
are we
realize
right now?
at this
Literally,
level
it's
81.
the start.
Oh my
Yeah,
Yeah, this
god.
is level 81.
Oh my god, how long
This
is
is
this
level
story
81
going to
at this
be?
point.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's like
And
40
at that-
hours.
Well, we can skip all the filler bullshit about bringing the moon bunnies to the scientists. So
Okay,
that'll
can we
cost
get-
like 20 hours.
Well,
We get, like,
we'll
a
have to explain that part because it's the worst fucking quest in the game. But anyway, so after that point, we realize we're not really getting anywhere with Charlian. So our approach turns to what the Eorzean, the Grand Company of Eorzea, which is the unification of all the various countries in Eorzea after we solved racism, are doing. And they're preparing to enter Garlemald because they know that Garlemald's been completely wrecked, not just by these towers, but the fact that there had been a giant civil war going on over all of Shadowbringers, and the country has pretty much destroyed itself at this point. So they're going to go there to try and rescue refugees. And we get there, and the civil war's still kind of going, because there are at this point basically two legions of the Garlean Empire left standing, the first and the third. And the third got tempered by another one of those towers. The Tower of Babil was built right in the middle of the Empire's palace, and that has managed to temper a whole chunk of Garlemald, except for a few straggling refugees in the First Legion. So the first and third are still having this civil war that just won't goddamn end. And we blast our way in, fight off the third, and we start trying to help people, and surprise, surprise, they're still really fucking racist and hate Eorzeans.
Oh no.
We didn't solve racism hard enough.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. So eventually, through scenes of various dead people who would rather die than take our help, we managed to make our way close to the capital, and we eventually meet the First Legion, basically the only part of the military left standing.
They're all dickheads.
Yeah, they're all dickheads. We try to help them. It's not working very well. They put shock collars on Alphino and Alizé because their leader realizes that because we're the fucking Warrior of Light, their shock collars won't do anything to us. And eventually, we decide, well, there's not much we can do here. We're going to leave. So then the First Legion just outright kidnaps Alphino and Alizé. They threaten us, want us to leave all our supplies as we go. But as it turns out, meanwhile, which is one of the external legions.
You cut out for a second.
The 10th Legion. So the First Legion have been threatening us. They're they're basically planning to mow us all down if we don't like surrender all of our goods. But then we get word that one of the other remaining legions, the 10th, has effectively surrendered to Eorzea. They realize that this entire thing is fucked. Garlemald is done, and they basically managed to convince the first to back off. And at this point, the leader of the first realizes all is lost, and he shoots himself.
Oh,
yeah.
It's fucked. Garlemald, the entire zone of Garlemald is fucked. There is no background music for 80% of the zone for very good reason. It's just desolate, and it just evokes the most miserable atmosphere.
And all of this
gets even more fucked. It gets even more fucked from here, because now that the first is out of the way, we're slowly starting to win people over, getting them out of here. We gathered a bunch of Garleans at the Eorzean base here, and then suddenly the Warrior of Light has a disassociative moment, because Xenos managed to pull out this obscure tech from a single boss fight in Stormblood, where one of the Garlean scientists figured out a way to pull people's souls out of their bodies. So he did that, grabbed our soul, shoved it right into the body of some random Garlean soldier, and we start having a dinner date with Xenos right there. And Fandaniel is there. He is dressed as a butler. This is entirely fucked up.
Okay, all right. I wasn't paying attention for like 5 minutes because none of it made any fucking sense. I'm back on. Let's go. Back on board.
So I want to drop... I did not mention that Fandaniel is like this super eccentric billionaire type who just won't shut up about how much he just wants to see things burn, and he's super fantastic and ridiculous. He's like Kuja. Imagine if Kuja was a butler and you were having a dinner date with the Warrior of Light. That's what's going on right now. While all these refugees are starving to death in the snow.
I mean, other than refugee part, there's no part of that sentence I didn't like other than the refugee bit.
And this whole dinner date is a pretense so Xenos could pull out his soul for a second and put it in your body. Right. Now Xenos is possessing you, and he's going to he's going to slowly head to the Eorzean base and kill everyone when he gets there, while you're stuck in the body of this random Garlean soldier who basically didn't level up Gladiator past 5 and has basically no abilities and no natural healing. And this results in one of the most stressful boss sequences in the game, because it's basically just this extended stealth sequence that's on a time limit. You have to get out of the city before Xenos gets too far ahead of you, and it is it is extremely difficult.
Endwalker has a lot of stealth sequences, and none of them work very well. This is like one of my only complaints with Endwalker, is other than the fact that the game doesn't work, is that the stealth sequences don't work.
Huh. Yeah. So what percentage of the way through are we now?
We are roughly at the start of level 83 of 90 at this point.
We cannot go for like 2 hours just going through the entire plot.
I think it will get a lot faster from here. The opening feels very slow. Right. So anyway, you get part of that. You manage to foil Xenos just in time. Everyone gets their bodies back, and the Eorzeans decide, fuck it, we're just going to siege the Tower Bill right now. And this is where the fight with Anima happens.
From Final Fantasy X.
Anima dirty. Yes.
Yeah.
Anima dirty?
Anima dirty.
Oh, okay.
By making
Anima
her
was
just
the core of the the Tower of Babil, and it's also like the core of every single tower that was in the world. Because not only did Fandaniel make these towers out of pieces of anima themselves in this is made of the corpse of Varus, the previous emperor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like they just turned him into a monster that just routinely sends out waves that tempers everyone nearby.
So anima is male this time, then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay.
yeah, we kill anima, and it turns out that the tower's main purpose was to gather all the Aether around them to basically channel into a giant beam to attack the moon.
Oh. As one does.
And they fire the moon. Fire the beam at their target. It does quite a bit of damage to what they were intending to hit, but it doesn't quite destroy it. So Fandaniel and Xenos just fucking go to the moon, and you follow them.
Okay, was there any indication before this that the moon was like a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been pretty explicit for a while.
Okay.
We've known for a while that Zodiac is imprisoned on the moon. So, they were trying to attack Zodiac's prison, break it open.
Is this sorry?
We followed them.
Is this like Final Fantasy VIII Lunar Cry?
In a few ways, yes.
Okay.
It's in some of this is evocative of the Lunar Cry in 8, especially what happens after the moon.
Or Final Fantasy IV, the Lunarians.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's both.
The moon's always haunted in Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so we make it to Mare Lamentorum, this area of the moon where Zodiac's been imprisoned. We try to stop Xenos from breaking the last few locks that were left on Zodiac's prison, since they fired the moonbeam at it. We fail Zodiac in his incomplete form because we didn't actually finish the Ashen's plans to recreate him. So he's only got about half of his bits still intact. He awakens, and
sorry, who is
because
Zodiac?
we killed Elidibus, he's the Ascian's god, and basically he was created to stop an ancient apocalypse that was destroying the Ascian's world. And then once they created Zodiac, a splinter faction of the Ascians created our god, Hydaelyn, in opposition, because the Ascians were planning on sacrificing more and more lives to Zodiac to keep getting him to do their bidding. So Hydaelyn attacked Zodiac, broke him into 14 pieces, which itself split the world into 14 different versions of itself, and the Ascians are basically destroying the new worlds that were created to retrieve the pieces of Zodiac and put them all back together.
Is Zodiac still a fish in a horseshoe like he used to be?
No, he's just a big demon daddy.
Okay.
He is a very Amano antagonist.
He's basically Amano's art of chaos.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
I'm looking at him
basically the
now.
best way to
Yeah.
describe
Oh,
it.
wow, that is cool looking.
Yeah. So we awaken Zodiac, and because
We beat
back
the
in
shit out of Zodiac.
Fandaniel possesses him because we basically because Elidibus was like his summoner, and when we killed Elidibus, we basically rendered Zodiac brain dead.
Oh.
So Fandaniel possesses him, and then goads us into killing him, and then it turns out, Zodiac didn't outright end the apocalypse. He just put it on hold. And Fandaniel intended us to kill Zodiac the entire time because now the apocalypse has restarted. Oops.
What apocalypse is this?
The final days. Basically, people get schlorped into creepy monsters, which makes more people get schlorped into creepy monsters. Basically, it's an apocalypse that feeds on the despair of everybody involved.
Sure.
So, you come back from the moon, everything's fucked. The main city of Favnir gets fucked up a bit, you have to go save them, and then basically you have to then basically everybody's like, why don't we investigate the final days themselves?
Yeah.
So, we then decide to speak with the dead ghost of Elidibus. Elidibus is like, yo, wanna go back in time? So we go back in time to a time before the final days. We dick around in prehistory, being like, and basically coming across this being called Meteon. Meteon basically is just this bird girl who exists in by being a being of pure emotional energy rather than a mix of emotional and magical energy like people are.
Okay.
After a few things, it turns out that there's a billion different Meteons, and they're all sent out into space to ponder the meaning of life.
She was created by the person that we now know as Fandaniel. Basically as a kind of space program, he sent all these Meteons out throughout the universe to try and find other life and ask them what they thought the meaning of life was.
Basically, what happens is Hermes/Fandaniel forgets about the existence of the Fermi paradox, gets all the information back from the Meteons. It drives the main Meteon we know absolutely batshit insane, and this starts the final days, because said Meteon, being a being of pure emotion, basically uses this to send everybody's despair into physical form, which then spreads, causing the apocalypse.
Right, and Fandaniel's just fine with this because he's kind of depressed than before all of this. He just learnt that his predecessor, the guy who, because Fandaniel's title, and Hermes, the current Fandaniel, at this time hadn't ascended to the position yet. He learnt that his mentor, the previous Fandaniel, was soon going to retire and die, and he's having trouble coping with the entire thing. And then all the Meteons, they just bring back all these reports of all of these worlds out there, where their civilizations have either gone extinct or are in the process of going extinct, and both he and Meteon absolutely lose it. He basically tells Meteon to go ahead with the plan she's just come up with to destroy all of creation, and he tries to wipe the memories of everyone there, so that they don't know that the universe is going to end. And the only two who make it out with their memories intact are you and an Asian Vinar. And Vinar is someone we know to have been Heidel's summoner. So it turns out that the sundering, that the shattering Zodiac into pieces, once Zodiac had summoned, that was her idea from the very start, because Meteon's powers work especially well on the Asians, because they are made of too much ether, too much magical energy, so they can barely manipulate the emotional energy or dynamis. So Meteon's attacking them, they can't do much about it. So she deliberately she deliberately broke the world the way it was into the way it is in the modern day, because now that everything has been shattered into 14 pieces, that includes people's souls, so they're much thinner in ether than they were in the past.
It means we can actually channel emotional energy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, she invented limit
anyway,
breaks.
Yeah. Anyway, back in we make our way back to the present. We realize both from the stuff we discovered on the moon, where all the naming ways are, which they had because the moon is actually a spaceship that meant to travel to other worlds, and that they had been talking with Charlian for the past hundreds of years, just to prepare for in the event that Zodiac dies, we're going to need to get as many people off the planet onto this moon so we can find another planet to settle on. And they want Charlian to gather as much information on the world as possible so they can make this trip as smooth as possible. It really is not working, because first of all, they didn't even bother to ask how tall humans are. So everything is way too fucking big.
Basically, a whole bunch of dicking around with bunnies later, we decide to go actually talk to Heidelin, being like, yo, what the fuck, what do we do? So we decide to go to the afterlife.
Yeah, basically, we go to Charlie and tell them, look, we know you've been helping build spaceships and stuff. We've actually got an idea. We want to
Catuse, I'm definitely hearing grinding from you.
Oh, sorry, one second.
Yeah. We want to borrow your spaceship, and also we know, based on this one place we explored back in Heavensward, that you have been building devices to talk to Heidelin. We want to get into one of those and just meet her in person. And after basically everything you've told them, they realize, well, shit, you're the real deal. We better let you go down there.
So we go down an elevator into the core of the planet, which is also the afterlife. Talk to Heidelin. Heidelin's like, yo, you've got to prove your strength to me to show that you're actually gonna be able to beat the shit out of Medion. So we beat the shit out of Heidelin, basically. Heidelin's like, yo, cool, I'm gonna put all my essence in this crystal and we're gonna use it to fuel the spaceship.
Yeah, so Heidelin's plan this entire time was basically to just first passively gather as much aether as possible into one place. This is the giant crystal that is often seen to represent her in various stuff. This is just a giant deposit of ether, and then basically wait for you to show up, because she met you back in the past. You wants you to come meet her in the present and prove that you are strong enough to take on whatever challenges that could be done by fight you could encounter on your way to Meteon by killing her. So yeah, we have killed both of the creator gods of the planet at this point.
Okay. Is
that
where
we've
this...
stolen her?
Is that where this ends?
We're at level.
No, this is level 89. We've skipped a lot of stuff.
We're nearly at the end.
There's a lot of filler. Yeah.
You've skipped
so
stuff.
We've killed her. We've killed her. Taken her. Yeah, we've killed her. Taken her giant crystal to use as spaceship fuel. And one thing, one other thing is that Banar/Heidelin knew where Meteon is. She's been hiding for the past 12,000 years or so at the edge of the universe, where the ether. the ether hasn't reached there yet, so it's basically just a place of pure dynamis. And so we take the spaceship that the Sharlians had made to travel between the planet and the moon to deliver all the people. We decide, well, no, we're not going to go ahead with that plan. We are going to go to Meteion and stop her ourselves. And can you take over? My throat starting to get sore.
So
Okay,
at this point,
So at
You-
this
you
point,
go
we're
ahead.
at the end of the universe. Meteion intercepts us on the way, and basically, very nearly kills everybody with the power of emotion. Big Daddy Thancred sacrifices himself to stop her from doing this, which then stabilizes the universe enough in this place that we get to see these remnants of dead civilizations that Meteion has come across. Basically, we travel through these, see what's happened, and more scions that are with us sacrifice themselves on the way. Eventually, we end up all alone, but we use the power of our previous self to summon back Hades/Emmett Selk, and Hyphalodeus, who is also another character that's important-ish, but we can gloss over him. And basically...
He's Emmett Selk's boyfriend.
Yeah, he's Emmett Selk's twink boyfriend.
and Emmett Selk
But yes.
is young Xehanort.
Yeah.
Okay.
He looks almost exactly like young Xehanort, yeah.
Yeah, basically what happens is stuff happens, we emotion summon back these people, they sacrifice themselves, we summon back everybody who sacrificed themselves, and then we get this lovely cutscene.
There's this one bit here where Emmett Selk is saying, well, no, I am going to go back to the live stream because I do not want to live in a world that Vanar has created. And the Warrior of Light is looking really sad. And then Emmett Selk basically just rattles off about a half dozen possible ideas for future expansions. It's really funny.
Okay.
Basically, once all that's done, we have a cutscene where you're walking... not a cutscene, it's basically a cutscene though, where you're just walking, and basically all these specters of people you've interacted with in the past give you words of encouragement, and then cue final dungeon and final boss fight with Meteion, where you're riding on the back of Xenos' Shinryu.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
Xenos, after...
Yeah, Xenos
Okay,
is
so
like...
Xenos, after he got back from the moon, because the 10th Legion has now effectively taken control of Galmold and has declared him an outlaw. They've taken completely over, realized that half of this shit is all Xenos' fault. They don't want him anymore. So Xenos is just wandering around killing people until he hears that the Warrior of Light's going to the edge of the universe. So he heads to Sharlian, basically threatens the people down there. How the hell do I get over there myself? He takes the last bit of Heidelin's big crystal, because we didn't need all of it ourselves, so we left some for Sharlian. He takes that, turns back into Shinryu, and fucking flies to the edge of the universe himself, and then gets really pissed that you haven't killed Meteion yet by the time he gets there.
And so, as such, you basically mount him and fight the end of all existence on the back of Xenos' Shinryu, the dragon that brings the end. And it is dope as shit.
She is chucking planets at you and all this shit.
It's basically Gurren Lagann at this point. And after you beat Meteion, you just have a fist fight at the end of the universe with Xenos.
Yeah,
Meteion. That's it.
This makes no fucking sense.
Meteion.
Yes.
Meteion manages to regain her sanity, and you'd start to win her over, and then Xenos interrupts the entire thing, basically laying out that look, I know that the main reason you're here is just because you want to fight even more cool fights, and while you can say he's wrong, it's much better if you just say that he's right, because you then get this fucking wild smirk on his face as you tell him, well, yeah, you're not wrong. Let's beat the shit out of each other right here at the edge of the fucking universe.
So you can fight Dragon Xenos then?
He just turns back to a human to have the fist fight.
His human form.
Alright, good.
Yeah,
Alright.
and yeah, you have this extended fight, and you punch him to death, and
then everyone lives happily ever after?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's the ending.
Yeah, and then 2 weeks later they put out the first part of the Raid series where you go back to the past and fight Dracula.
Because there was an SCP containment breach, but we're not going into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That none of that made.
We're done. We've summed up enough of them.
All right.
That
Thank you very much for that.
Yes.
That highly detailed summary, SomeColorMage.
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue what happened with any of that.
I assume it just sounded like if you.
It sounded like
if you tried to explain Kingdom Hearts to someone who has never played Kingdom Hearts before, that's what it would sound like.
That sounded worse than that. That was complete gibberish. None of it was connected to any of the other bits. I have no idea what to make of any of that. There was no coherent theme. There was no underlying cause to any of it. Just things were happening.
We would need hours for that. We would need hours for that.
Okay. All right,
what was the point of summarizing the blood again? Where are we going with this?
This just started happening, and I tried to stop it, but it had its own energy, and it kind of took over for a while, and the
Endwalker Wild.
I definitely zoned out and started playing Solitaire on my phone for a while there. I'm not gonna lie. So that's the greatest Final Fantasy story of all time, then, huh?
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay.
Like, I've explained this in other places, but Final Fantasy XIV hits the same, platonic ideal of a Final Fantasy plot that 4 does, in that it starts out incredibly stupid, and then... not incredibly stupid, incredibly simple, sorry, and then partway through, things just go completely and utterly off the fucking rails, and yet if you've gone through the entire thing, you look at it and think, this makes perfect sense. Four's ending, like the back, I guess about quarter or so of 4, is complete nonsense with everything involving the moon there.
Yeah, but
hey, look.
It's not that brutal. There's one precursor race and there's one ancient demon, and you just gotta kill that guy.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. Yeah. It turns out people live on the moon.
Race and there's an ancient demon.
Yeah, it turns out people lived on the moon. There's a monster hidden at the center of the moon, and you gotta go kill him or he's gonna blow up the Earth. That's it. So, I guess we went to the edge of space and they threw planets at us, and the Empire fell, and there was a dragon, and there was anima, and there was towers, and I'm doing what was summarized to me. That's pretty much how it went. And then you went to the center of the Earth, and you went to the edge of space, and then Goofy got killed with a rock.
Yeah.
And then he came back a minute later, and then Girl Sora, she hung out with alternate Bizarro Sora, but then she turned into a monster form of Sora, and Bizarro Sora had to kill Girl Sora. And, it's all there. Anything everyone could ever ask for. It's the greatest story ever told, truly.
It all makes sense eventually.
So you all like the expansion then, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the best expansion?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think
it's
the
not even
still out on
close.
that.
It's not even close.
The story, I think, is the best, but I think in terms of the whole, we can't. I don't think we can say whether the expansion is the best expansion yet until we've seen some of the later patches.
Okay, and we haven't really talked gameplay much other than bad stealth levels, but I guess all that gameplay is good for people who like that sort of thing.
The gameplay is basically the same as it's been, except stuff is a bit faster paced. Basically, everything has built like gameplay wise, everything's built upon all the little building blocks every previous X pack has done before. So it's the gameplay. The core gameplay is very similar. So there's not much to really say there.
Okay, well, I'm glad that everybody that plays this game had a very Merry Christmas and was given the present of going to space and riding their boyfriend and fighting. Yes, yeah, that except for the ones who are still unable to. I'm sorry about that. You had a less Merry Christmas, but, you know, it is what it is. So,
it don't be like that.
It sometimes be like that. We are going long at this point. We're over 90 minutes. I don't even know what anything is anymore. I started.
We're out of topics, I guess. Although there's also like that Final Fantasy XIV High School AU manga.
We can't get into that. We can't get into that.
Briefly get into that.
The only important thing is that Emmett Salkin in that universe wears Crocs.
Okay, sure.
Which is the worst thing.
All right.
The absolute worst.
So I guess we should wrap this up then.
Nobody should wear Crocs.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else has anything ever to say. I don't
said
know.
All we need.
I don't know anything about anything anymore. I am truly as exhausted and mind wiped as I've ever been. I mean no offense to Final Fantasy XIV fans. That was a wild experience. Anyway,
maybe we all just suck at describing things.
Yeah. Also very possible.
I don't know. I don't know. It could have been the best summary possible. I don't play the game, so you might have very succinctly hit all the points and did a great job. Anyway,
I think we all need to go to bed, except for the people in Australia. Having just explained the story of Endwalker, need to.
Yeah, I've
to go to lunch.
I'm working on day 2 of a hangover right now from Christmas Eve, so that might be part of what's going on here. So why don't we wrap this up? Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back in January in some form. I'm not sure what we're doing yet, but I'm not going to be... Catuse, that noise is happening again. Sorry. I don't know what to do about that. We're going to be back in January in some form. I don't know if I'm hosting that episode or what. We might have something special for that time. But until then, we have been the Final Fantasy Wiki. I've been your host, BlueHighwind. I've been your producer, BlueHighwind. All technical problems are my fault. I failed you all on that. Joining me tonight was Catuse, Hexedmagica, and SomeColorMage, who actually played this game and probably were able to make heads or tails of that entire description. Our music is La Montaña de los Jovenes Caballeros, which is by XPRTNovice off the Balance and Ruin OC remix album. Thank you so much for letting us use your music, and the URL is finalfantasy.wiki.com. What is it again? Fandom.finalfantasy.com?
FinalFantasy.fandom.com.
FinalFantasy.fantasy.fantasy. That's the thing. Thank you so much for joining us.
All the way down.
Happy New Year. Let us hope that Final Fantasy XVI is in our future. Thank you so much. Goodbye.